Hey friends, welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Courtney, and I've got my two standard poodles, Phaedra and Nyx, hanging out in here with me, so you may see them walking around. Before I jump into this video, I want to remind you to click on that little subscribe button down below so you never miss one of my videos. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about cruelty-free drugstore foundations. You guys requested this video. No, I'm not too posh to wear anything from the drugstore. I actually like quite a few drugstore products, just not usually drugstore foundations. Pretty much I'll wear anything that's cruelty-free from drugstore to indie to high-end. Doesn't matter to me as long as it works well for me. Oh, since people always ask me my MAC number for foundation shades, for reference, I would be somewhere between, I guess, an N0 and an N5. I say this because the person who made the MAC numbering system is also the same person who made the Cover FX numbering system, and in Cover FX, I wear the shade N0. So if MAC had an N0, that's probably what I would wear. So the caveat to this video is that there are currently no cruelty-free drugstore foundations that are a match for my skin tone and my skin type. And what I mean by that is that there are no foundations that are cruelty-free, that are pale enough for me, that I don't have to add white to, that work on my dry skin. The only cruelty-free drugstore foundation that is a match for my skin tone I will be talking about in this video. It's NYX Total Control Drops in Pale. Unfortunately, every other cruelty-free drugstore foundation that I've tried, I have to add white to, and I'm basically at the point in my life where I'm tired of adding white to foundation. If I add too much, I end up with kabuki face, where my face is much lighter than my neck or my chest, or if I don't add enough, then my face is darker than my neck and my chest. And I want my neck and chest to match my face because my neck and my chest are lighter than my face. And my face looks darker because I have a pink overtone from my rosacea. So I want them to be all uniform. So yeah, rather than use a cruelty-free drugstore foundation that I have to add white to, I would rather just use a foundation I don't have to add white to that's a great match for me, such as Cover FX N0 or Eden Minerals Nordic Veil Foundation in the shade Urine or Huda Beauty Faux Filter. All of those match me, and I don't have to add white. Also, I feel like it needs to be said that just because cruelty-free drugstore brands do not cater to my skin tone, it does not equate to the struggles of a person of color. When I go into the drugstore, or if I see ads for a cruelty-free drugstore foundation, I still see somebody who looks vaguely like me. There's somebody who's, white. It's just they don't offer the correct shade for my skin. For a person of color, some drugstore brands don't even offer a shade that's anywhere near their skin tone, and when you look at ads, it's pretty much all people with light or light medium skin. So for me, it's an inconvenience, and it means I have to shop more high-end. For a person of color, it's basically systemic racism. Okay, so the first cruelty-free drugstore foundation that I want to tell you about is one that my friends Jen from My Beauty Bunny and Miranda from Slashed Beauty have raved about. They said this foundation is amazing. It is the Physicians Formula, the Healthy Foundation. This foundation is packed with skincare ingredients that are supposed to help brighten the skin, hydrate it, and firm it, and just basically make it look amazing. When I was looking over the ingredients, I thought it would be especially good for dry skin because it has hyaluronic acid, which is really great for helping to put moisture back into the skin. It also has vitamins A, C, and E, and it's SPF 20, although you know me, I do not rely on my makeup for my SPF. I put SPF on before my makeup. I generally feel like people are not going to put on enough makeup to reach that SPF level, and for me, the sun here in Florida is brutal, and I do not want to risk getting skin cancer. From everything I can tell, this foundation is great for sensitive skin, and it offers medium to full coverage. It comes in 16 shades, and it looks like it has quite a number of shades for deeper skin tones. I'm going to put links down below to Jen's review and Miranda's review. You should check them both out because they have swatches. I believe Miranda has swatches of every single color in the collection so you can see how the deeper shades look as well as the paler shades. And as you know, my friend Jen from My Beauty Bunny specializes in cruelty-free beauty just like I do. And Miranda specializes in drugstore beauty. So you should give the two of them a follow if these are things that interest you. Okay, next on my list is the Milani Conceal Imperfect 2-in-1 Foundation. I have bought 4 different colors in this line and been disappointed by all of them because they're all too freaking orange, except for one, which is too pinky orange. I originally bought this foundation because I was following Kathleen Lights at the time, and she was like, oh, this is a great drugstore foundation. And I was like, oh, hey, it's Milani. I know they make some great products. I'll try it. And so I bought the shade 01, which is like creamy vanilla or something. It was way too dark and orange. So then they came out with 00, which was like creamy natural, still too orange. So then I bought, then I bought the shade 00B, which was supposed to be more yellow tone, still too orange. So then I bought the shade 00A, which is supposed to be neutral to cool tone, and it's too pinky orange. So I just can't win. This is definitely one of those foundations that if you want full coverage from the drugstore, I think this will be a great choice. It comes in 19 different shades and there are quite a few options for deeper skin. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you swatches of the shades of this foundation that I still have so you can see just how bad and how dark they are on my skin tone. So next up are the NYX Total Control drops. This is the shade Pale. This shade matches my skin very well because it's an ivory with yellow undertone. That is apparently my skin tone. And while the shade match is great, the formula is terrible for my dry skin. It clings to dry patches I didn't know I had. It clings and emphasizes fine lines around my eyes and around my face and just looks so gross. I desperately wish that this worked for me because I would love to buy it and I would love to support NYX and wear this foundation all the time, but it just looks awful on me. So bad. I do have to say that of all the cruelty-free brands at the drugstore, I do feel like this foundation line from NYX is the best for shade range, hands down. There's like 32 different shades. It's amazing. Now, if only the formula worked. From everything I can tell, this foundation works best for normal to combo to oily skin. It's not going to look good on dry skin because it emphasizes dry patches. If you're somebody who can wear this with dry skin, I'm so jealous because I wish I could. NYX, if you're listening, please make this shade in all of your foundation lines because then I will buy them and wear them. I promise you. I do feel like this is more light to medium coverage. NYX says it's like sheer to full coverage, but I don't know that you can build this up as much as they claim. So I thought you would want to know that this is the second most popular drugstore foundation at Ulta. It is the first most popular cruelty-free foundation at Ulta. The only foundation that beats it out from the drugstore is Maybelline. Next up is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. Now, Now this is a vegan foundation. It comes in about 20 different shades. The shade Porcelain is a little bit too dark for me. If it was a little bit lighter, it would be a better match, but the formula really isn't great on my dry skin. I have to really heavily moisturize and exfoliate before I wear it because it's gonna cling to any dry patches I have. I feel like it's very similar in depth to the Ordinary Serum foundation in the shade 1NS. Which is just also a little bit too dark for me. This is definitely more on the medium to full coverage side, so if you like medium to full coverage foundations, this is a very good choice. I think this works best for normal oily skin, combo skin, and maybe very slightly dry skin. I just found that it was very cakey on me, which I don't think looks good. So next we have the cruelty-free Wet n Wild MegaCushion foundation. I have the shade I actually own the shades Light Ivory and Cream Ivory. The finish on this is very nice, but again, it's not a match for my skin tone, and you'll see in the swatches at the end of this video. However, this formula is awesome for dry skin. So if you have normal to dry skin and possibly combo, I'm not really sure about it, but maybe combo, you can wear this foundation. It's going to give you light to light medium coverage. It has a skin-like finish. I think it looks really beautiful on the skin. I wish that they had a shade for me. I did try to open mine up and pull out the cushion to add white into it to try to make it a better batch for me, but because of how the cushion foundation has most of the foundation within the cushion itself, that didn't work at all. So it was a terrible idea. I do hope that Wet n Wild decides to expand their foundation range in this foundation line because there's only 8 shades. If they were to double it, add a lighter shade, I would be so much happier. So next on the list is the Flower Beauty Illusion Liquid Foundation. This looks really promising. I hope that I can get a sample of it or I can find it in stores to give it a try. It claims to have a weightless formula that will even out your skin tone and imperfections and make you look beautiful and radiant. It looks like it's going to have light to medium coverage and work for normal to dry skin to possibly combo skin. It does come in 12 shades. I hope one of those shades actually works for me. Next on the list is one of the foundations that I've heard a lot of you talk about. It's the BH Cosmetics Liquid Foundation. This one is vegan. It comes in 18 different shades. It has hyaluronic acid in it, so that makes it ideal for dry skin like mine. It's supposed to have medium coverage that's buildable and it doesn't cling to dry spots, which I think that's partially because it has the hyaluronic acid in it. And so with hyaluronic acid, it draws moisture in from outside the air around you or maybe your skincare products or whatever. So if you live in a dry climate, it's not necessarily a good idea, but if you're in a humid climate like I am and you have dry skin, hyaluronic acid is awesome. I'm pretty sure this foundation is best for normal to dry skin, possibly combo skin. I don't think it would work well with oily skin from the way it's described. The next cruelty-free drugstore foundation on my list is the Ulta Demi Matte Foundation. It only comes in 10 shades. It's supposed to have a unique lightweight gel cream formula that melds with the skin. It's supposed to absorb oil, diminish shine, and reduce the appearance of fine lines, like have light diffusing properties, I guess. It's vegan and offers light to medium coverage. I believe this is probably going to work best for normal skin, oily skin, possibly acne prone skin. Next up is the NYX Stay Matte Not Flat Liquid Foundation. It comes in 25 different shades, which is pretty nice. It's a medium coverage foundation that can be built up closer to full. It's supposed to be excellent for normal to oily skin as well as combo skin and possibly acne prone skin. I'm guessing if you have dry skin like me, you should avoid it because it will end up caking on your skin. Next up is the Ulta HD Soft Focus Liquid Foundation. Again, it has a really limited shade range, only 10 shades. It's supposed to be excellent for dry skin, normal skin, and combo skin. It gives you light to medium coverage that can be built up a little bit past medium. When looking up reviews on this foundation, a lot of people say that if you have dry skin like me, you should make sure that your skin is well moisturized before you use it. And some people recommend buffing it out with a brush and then going back with a beauty blender or your fingers. The next foundation is a new one from Burt's Bees. It's the Goodness Glow Foundation. And when I first saw the name of this, I thought it was Goddess Glow. It only comes in 12 shades, but it's supposed to be a full coverage foundation with a natural radiant finish. It's not supposed to be cakey or greasy. It says it works for dry skin, normal skin, and combo skin. Now, the way people recommend applying this one is the same way I do the Huda Beauty, where you apply it to one part of your face, blend it out, and then go on to the next part. They say don't dot it all over your face. And if you do that, you're gonna end up with like weird, dry, cakey patches. So work in sections when you apply this one. The next cruelty-free foundation on my list is the Model's Own Foundation Stick. Somebody here on YouTube recommended that I try this one out. I bought the shade 1. It hasn't arrived from Ulta yet. I couldn't find it in stores, so I had to buy it online. Although, to be honest with you, I buy like 99% of my stuff from Ulta online. I hate going and shopping in stores. This stick foundation comes in 12 different shades. People claim that it can give from light to full coverage depending on how you apply it. I'm gonna try applying it like directly from the stick and then buffing it out. A lot of people say that it works for normal skin, combo skin, and oily skin, and it's not gonna work for dry skin, so we'll see what happens. At the very least, I'm only out like $8 because it's on sale. The next foundation on my list is the LA Girl Pro Liquid Foundation. This comes in like 16 or 18 different shades, and one of the shades is a white mixer. I found that the white mixer in this foundation actually broke me out, so I stopped trying to use it. I stopped trying to mix the lightest shade in the foundation with the white mixer to make a match for me because I couldn't deal with the constant breakouts along my jawline. This is a medium coverage foundation that I think is best suited for normal to dry skin. I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't mention Manic Panic. So Manic Panic has been around probably longer than I've been alive, and they do have makeup, they do have a foundation line. I think the foundation line that I looked at on their website though is relatively new because all of the shades look new. Maybe not, I could be wrong, but it's their Vampyre's Veil Liquid Foundation. It has 17 different shades and it's a water-based foundation, making it ideal for normal to dry skin. When I emailed Manic Panic to ask if this foundation had any shade descriptions for their shades, because there are no descriptions for these shades on their website, they just said that, well, it's an order from lightest to darkest and we offer warm and cool shades. That's it. But they don't actually tell you which shades are warm or which shades are cool. So I'm not really sure which shade to try ordering. I'm probably going to try and order one of them. I'm just not sure which one. Oh, and since I know somebody's going to ask, yes, hard candy is cruelty-free. Yes, hard candy is at the drugstore. When I tried the I think it's called the Glamouflage foundation in the shade Porcelain, it was one of the worst foundations I have ever put on my face. It was so cakey. So cakey. Can't even get over how cakey it is. It looks like they only offer 9 shades in that foundation right now. That one is super full coverage, definitely best suited for oily skin. Super oily skin. Hard Candy also makes some like mix-in drops. There are like 12 different shades available. I bought the lightest one. It's still too dark for my skin tone, but that's something that you could mix with like a moisturizer or another foundation or whatever you wanted, like a primer. Oh, and you'll probably notice that I didn't mention e.l.f. at all. Yes, e.l.f. is cruelty-free. However, their shade range is pathetic. They have anywhere from 3 to 6 shades per foundations. That is ridiculous. That is not acceptable. In addition to that, I found out that they've done some really shady stuff to bloggers, taking bloggers' images and using them for displays in store without ever getting permission to use those images. And they've also taken bloggers' pictures, put them up on their Instagram, and then didn't credit them properly. And I'm not interested in supporting a brand that does that. Yeah, e.l.f. has had some cool products, but in general, most of their products have been misses for me, so I'm not even gonna mess with that. So if you're curious about more cruelty-free drugstore brands, I have a whole post dedicated just to the drugstore, and I break it down by like hair and skincare and makeup. So I'm gonna put a link up here, I'm gonna put a link up here so you can click out and go check that out. There are a bunch of really great pinnable images that you can just save on your phone to take shopping with you, or you can pin them to Pinterest, whatever you wanna do. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the swatches. Now I went ahead and swatched these on my arm, and I swatched some colors that I know will work for my skin tone with a bunch of my drugstore products. We have NYX Pale, which is a great match for my skin tone. It's basically a ivory with yellow undertone, and I guess that's my skin tone. I actually feel like it blends into my skin tone better than Nordic Veil and Urine, which I love Urine, you know this, but Urine appears to be more peach toned than yellow toned when you compare the two, and I feel like the yellow tone just blends in more seamlessly with my cool yellow skin. Then we have Kat Von D L4d Wine, which is a cool neutral, and I feel like this shade works better for me than Kat Von D L42, which is more of a pinky neutral. L41 is almost like an Asian BB cream with its gray tone, but that works better for me than pink tones. Then we have Clay Cushion Foundation in Light and Wet n Wild Cushion Foundation in Light Ivory. They're both really nice. They have a great finish. They're excellent for dry skin, but they're both too dark for me. I can literally only put them on the areas of redness on my face because I can't put them all over. If I try to put them on all over and you're hanging out in person with me, my face will look darker than my neck or my chest, which I absolutely hate. I cannot stand that. Then we have Cover FX Total Cover Cream in N0. This is a great color for me. I just wish that I liked the formula better. That's actually my problem with Cover FX right now, is I really don't care for the formula of any of their foundations. The one that I like the best out of what they have is the Total Cover Cream. The shade works for me really well, but I definitely have to set it all over with a powder, or it will just, just the lightest touch will smear it off my face, which I can't stand. Then we have the Ordinary Serum Foundation in the shade 1NS. This foundation is amazing for my dry skin. I just wish it was a shade lighter so I didn't have to add white to it, because that's why I don't wear it. Now we have the travesty that is Milani. 00A is too pink, 00B is too orange, 00 is too peachy orange. All three of these are too dark for my skin tone. It's kind of pathetic. This is Wet n Wild Porcelain, and it's about the same depth as the Ordinary Serum Foundation in 1NS, meaning it's close, but it's still too dark without me adding white to it. I wish, I really, really wish that these were about a shade lighter, and that probably would be fine. Then we have Lush's Jackie Oats, which is a nice yellow beige, but again, slightly too dark for me. And then last but not least is the Balm Lighter Than Light, and this one is laughably orange. I took these swatches on my arm in indirect sunlight. I also took some pictures inside my house, and I took some under studio lighting, so you can get a feel for how these look. I hope you enjoyed the subscriber request for cruelty-free drugstore foundations. If you found this video informative or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up and share. I love it when you share my videos, and it really helps me out, so thank you so much for doing it. If you have any video requests, let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.